Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hope you're doing fantastic. We are continuing our reading of Kipling's poetry. He wrote The Jungle Book. Pretty interesting author, I must say. This particular poem is titled The Betrothed. Go ahead and listen to this as you are going for a nice walk. You're throwing rocks in the river. You're bird watching. You're bug watching. Whatever fun thing it is that you're up to this beautiful day. We have a nice rainstorm coming in, so I really enjoy it. Let's begin. You must choose between me and your cigar. Breach of promise case, circa 1885. Now that's a strange intro. Let's see. Open the old cigar box. Get me a Cuba stout. For things are running crossway, and Maggie and I are out. We quarreled about Havanas, we fought o'er a good cheroot, and I know she is exacting, and she says I am a brute. Aha, alright. Cuba stouts, so Cuban cigars, expensive. They used to be illegal for a time. And they quarreled about Havanas, so Havana is a place in Cuba, so maybe she's complaining about his smoking. She's calling him a brute. Maybe wants him to be more gentlemanly. Who knows, maybe he's stinking up the house with a cigar. Open the old cigar box. Let me consider a space. In the soft blue veil of the vapor musing on Maggie's face. So, soft blue veil of the... There was this saying I once heard of, like, when you're in love, they would call it like the blue veil, like the sky blue veil. I wonder if that's what he's getting at. It's like when you're younger, you're naive, you're living in a sort of love fantasy, things are just perfect in your princess fairyland. It was some type of saying that I heard once. The vapor musing on her face. That's an interesting way to phrase it, because she would be musing because she's not very happy as the smoke is around her. But he's taken the emotion off of her and put it onto the vapor. Maggie is pretty to look at. Maggie's a loving lass. But the prettiest cheek must wrinkle. The truest of loves must pass. Here we go. Now, she's beautiful. She's very loving. Lass means it's like a woman, lady, right? And the wrinkling means dissatisfaction. So even if a woman is really beautiful, she's not going to be content with you all the time. The truest of love must pass. Now that's very nihilistic if you think about it. But yet it can be very true for many. Because love can fade, and it can come in cycles, where you're really in love with this person and you go through a period where you might have resentment or just not have as strong of a bond and whatnot. So it seems that their argument and the cigars are really coming in to play here. And he's focusing a lot on her face. Vapor musing on Maggie's face. Prettiest cheeks must wrinkle. She's nice to look at. Very interesting. There's peace in Laranaga. There's calm in a Henry Clay. But the best cigar in an hour is finished and thrown away. That's interesting. I've never smoked a cigar, but that is a unique insight into the mentality of, even if it's really good, it's not going to last forever. So notice how he spoke of time when he spoke of Maggie. The truest love must pass. And then he mentions time, even the best cigars are thrown away. So both a cigar and his love are temporary. Thrown away for another as perfect and ripe and brown. Now here we are seeing replacement. So your cigar finishes, there's another in the box. Gets at the saying about women. You see her, she leaves, there's more fish in the sea. He's getting at this set of playing of rotation and replacement. But I could not throw away Maggie, fear all the talk of the town. So here we see he doesn't want to get rid of Maggie for the sake of the cigars. Maybe she wants him to quit smoking. But it doesn't say yet, because I haven't read the rest of the poem, because he loves her. Rather, it's the talk of the town means the gossip. What will people say? How will he be judged? And that could hurt his future prospects for a different woman. Maggie, my wife at 50, grey and dour and old, with never another Maggie to purchase for love or gold. So now we got an insight into the age. 50. She's grey. I was thinking they were young lovebirds, because he mentioned the soft blue veil. So here we're getting an example of confusion, almost, as readers. Because when you first stumble upon it, I felt as if they were talking about two new lovebirds who are just getting used to each other, getting used to married life. But we can see, no, they're older couple. And the light of days that have been the dark of the days that are, and love's torch stinking and stale like the butt of a dead cigar. Ooh. Love's torch. So we have love's torch and then a dead cigar. The torch of love and the cigar. Things that are combustible in a sense, that have a flame to them, that are able to catch fire. When you have the butt of a cigar, nothing left can be lit. Here we see his love's torch. Nothing can be lit from it. It's at its end. So the flame of love is to the end. The butt of a dead cigar you're bound to keep in your pocket, with never a new one to light, though it's charred and black to the socket. Why would you keep a dead cigar butt? Flick it. Why would you keep it in your pocket? And why can't you get a new cigar if you have a cigar box? Because, let's see. I get he's sort of showing how you can have your woman in your pocket. She might not be perfect, but you still keep her, even though it's at the end. Because you can see the sort of symbolism connecting here. The woman is old and gray. And he even mentions himself with never another to purchase for love or gold. So the fact that he's keeping the cigar, but even though it's charred and black to the socket, shows a sort of companionship. He doesn't want to toss out the relationship as much. He's going back and forth between comparing the cigar to love's torch and to his love for her and her herself. Open the old cigar box. Let me consider a while. Here is a mild Manila. There is a wifely smile. So a mild Manila, there is a wifely smile. So are we getting at the stench of different cigars? So we have a Cuba Stout, and then we have a mild Manila. Maybe one stinks more than the other. Maybe one intoxicates less than the other. Some people get a buzz from tobacco, I believe. I've never had a cigar, so I don't know. But obviously it alters the way in which you feel, or else people wouldn't smoke it. So before we had vapor musing on Maggie's face, so she's not too pleased, to now opening a mild Manila, and there's a wifely smile. Which is better portion? Bondage bought with a ring. Bondage bought with a ring. Marriage, right? Or a harem of dusky beauties, 50 tied in a string. So this is showing the kind of bonds of marriage. You can have one that's bonded to you thoroughly. And then you can have a choice between a harem of semi-beauties who are tied in a string, which is more flimsy, which they can all go. So what one's going to bring you more comfort? The better portion of love. Counselors cunning and silent. Comforters true and tried. So here we have a very fascinating example. The harem women are more cunning counselors, whereas the bonded one who's with you is going to be more comforting and true and tried, stick with you with thin and thin. And never a one of the 50 to sneer at a rival bride. So, getting at the cattiness and jealousy and rivalry that happens when a man has more than one wife. Thought in the early morning solace in time of woes, peace in the hush of the twilight, balm ere my eyelids close. This will the 50 give me, asking naught in return, with only a cité's passion to do their duty and burn. This will the 50 give me, when they are spent and dead. 5 times other 50 shall be my servants instead. The furrows of a far-off Java, the isles of the Spanish Main, when they hear that my harem is empty, will send me my brides again. So just a replacement of women when they're empty. Yet maybe he's getting at too. When your box of cigars is empty, you'll get a new one when someone knows you're out. I will take no heed to their raiment, nor food for their mouths withal, so long as the gulls are nesting, so long as the showers fall. I will scent them with best vanilla, with tea will I temper their hides, and the Moor and the Mormon shall envy who read the tales of my brides. Now this is interesting. The Mormons and then the Moors of Spain. That's a very unique way of comparing the styles of personality. I think the Moors were thought to be of more warriors, more strong, formidable, serious, forbearing. Mormons are more passive, smile a lot, super kind, and docile. The men being more effeminate than the Moors, classically from the stereotypical representations that we get. So if the Mormon and the Moor are having envy for his harem, it would go to show how the quality of his stock is. For Maggie has written a letter to give me my choice between the wee little whimpering love and the great god nicotine. Haha, he spelled nicotine instead of the classical real way. He spelled it N-I-K, something like Nick, as in the name, and then O''teen. So it looks like a name, but sounds like nicotine, right? Nicotine is the addictive quality within tobacco. So, whimpering love, and then the great god nicotine. So here, you get at the complaining of a bride who loves you and it's kind of like, please honey, please. It's like a low whimper. Oh, I don't want you to smoke. Can you stop smoking? It's whimpering, it's soft. When someone whimpers, it's more tolerable when they're advising you or when you hear it. Less nerve-wracking. So it's interesting that he compares whimpering and then great to each other, switching how it should be whimpering nicotine and great love. He switched it to be the opposite, kind of showing how the nicotine addiction has a higher effect on his consciousness than the love. And I have been servant of love for barely a 12th month ye clear, but I have been a priest of cabanas a matter of 7 year. So here he's getting at the addiction. So he's been smoking for 7 years. He's been married and a servant of love less than a year. Kind of showing the habits, what he's used to. And the gloom of my bachelor days is flecked with a cheery light of stumps that I burn to friendship and pleasure and work and fight. So of stumps that I burned, the ends, butts of the cigars. So he would light up one for friendship, light up one, after intimacy, pleasure. It's very famous that people who smoke like to smoke after having intimacy. People like to smoke after a hard day's work, and people like to smoke after a fight. So people find their reasons for when they like to smoke for an emotional relaxation effect or for a celebratory event. Smokers have their reasons for lighting up besides just being addicted. So he's got many for when he was bachelor, when he was single, for all the different occasions that he wanted to smoke. And I turn my eyes to the future that Maggie and I must prove, but the only light on the marshes is the will-o'-the-wisp of love. Well, we see more and more now of what he's struggling with. Will it see me safe through my journey, or leave me bogged in the mire? Since a puff of tobacco can cloud it, shall I follow the fitful fire? So a puff of tobacco can cloud it, shall I follow the fitful fire? So the smoking can cloud your judgment, so you're going to follow that path and let go of trying to please this woman. What's he going to choose? Open the old cigar box, let me consider anew. So that's kind of funny, is that he's going to pick one up, smoke it, and think about what he's going to do about smoking. Old friends, and who is Maggie that I should abandon you? So this is interesting because the cigar is his old friend, his companion, was there for him in his bachelor days. It's like a almost pacifier for his consciousness. And he's saying an interesting line of, who is she to tell me to quit? Right? A million surplus Maggies are willing to bear the yoke. He's getting at the phrase I said earlier, lots of fish in the sea. So, bear the yoke of marriage, bear the yoke of a relationship, bear the yoke of dealing with what you deal with in marriages and such. So, surplus means quite a lot of women. And a woman is only a woman, but a good cigar is a smoke. That's funny. So it's like, that's funny. Light me another Cuba. I hold to my first sworn vows. If Maggie will have no rival, I'll have no Maggie for spouse. So, no rival is in competing for his affection, his attention, his obedience. Right? She's laid down the law. She's rivaling the cigar. He says, you know what? I'm not going to really quit. Take it or leave it. You can go. But this is my way of soothing myself. My way of relaxation. My habit. It's very unique. That was the end of that one. The betrothed. So who's he going to kind of be wed to? The cigar or Maggie? So in the end, I don't think he chooses Maggie. Because remember, he said, for things are running crossways and Maggie and I are out. So he started it with letting us see a sort of foreshadowing of out, I are out of this relationship, out of the question of continuing the relationship, and then I'll have no Maggie for a spouse. So he started and ended it with Maggie being out of the picture. But yet, there was that little hope of, but I could not throw away Maggie for fear of the talk of the town. We'll see. But they were an older couple. So, when he mentions bachelor days, he kind of gets at his young lifestyle and how he's been doing it for so long. He doesn't really want to change a habit for his woman. Unique examples here that I think was quite playful. What do you have to say? Let me know. By the way, if you'd like to join my blog, www.subscribestar.com/MilanArchive, you'll see lots of different posts on there. I get into more long format stuff. Good community, less trolls, unlike YouTube, and I think you'll like it very much. I'm going to go check on the little one. They're playing, so see you next time.